Welcome to the Urban Herald. As part of the editorial team, today we're setting our compass a little differently. We're heading away from the bright lights and, those endless queues. Our mission today is an in-depth analysis of Europe's most alluring, yet often shockingly overlooked, destinations for 2025.
That's right. We're guiding you through the continent's best-kept secrets.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we are deliberately moving beyond that traditional, hyper-commercialized tourist checklist.
The standard Paris, Rome, Barcelona itinerary.
Exactly. We're setting our sights on places that promise not just a quick snapshot, but genuine cultural immersion, some tranquility, and just a significantly deeper experience. This deep dive is really about finding Europe's soul.
In its quieter corners.
Yes, and sometimes more challenging corners, for sure.
And our analysis, it really centers on this critical shift in modern travel.
Oh.
You could almost call it the future of how we engage with Europe. We've been calling the catalyst overtourism fatigue.
That's the perfect term for it.
You, the traveler today, are just tired of battling queues, paying those inflated prices that mass commercialization demands, and feeling like your cultural experience is, well, constantly being diluted.
And the data emphatically supports that feeling. I mean, it's not just a feeling anymore. Recent findings show that a staggering half of European travelers are now actively seeking out these lesser-known destinations.
It's half. That's a huge number.
It is. They are consciously choosing to steer clear of the traditional hotspots. And what's particularly compelling, according to the European Travel Commission, is the rise in just the overall commitment to travel.
Right.
So 27% of Europeans are planning 3 or more trips in 2025.
Which is a 6% jump from just last year.
A 6% jump. So people are traveling more, but they're prioritizing where they go with almost surgical precision.
Okay, let's unpack this a little. We're seeing more trips, sure. But the quality metric for us at the Urban Herald is that desire for depth. And you can see it right in the planning stage. 42% of travelers are now planning longer stays, specifically between 7 and 12 nights.
And that's the key metric.
This is probably the single most crucial piece of data driving our analysis today. It tells us the modern traveler isn't just rushing through to tick a box. They want to slow down. They want to understand the rhythms of local life and, foster a real, meaningful connection with a place.
Precisely. This substantial shift from a quick photo stop to a 7 or 12-night immersion, it demands that we focus on mindful and sustainable travel.
Right.
So our analysis today has to be seen as more than just a list of pretty towns. It's a foundational framework for supporting thoughtful, distributed tourism.
Distributed tourism, I like that.
By spreading visitors more evenly, we dramatically reduce the severe environmental and infrastructural strain on overtaxed places like Venice or Amsterdam. And critically, we provide essential, stable income streams for smaller local communities who are genuinely eager to share their authentic, unedited heritage.
So our mission is to highlight destinations that epitomize diversity, offer exceptional value, and genuinely represent a more sustainable future for travel. We should probably start by setting the criteria, though. What really defines a hidden gem beyond just, a lack of a queue?
It's a difference in the fundamental quality of the entire travel experience. When you're in a hidden gem, the primary focus isn't on maximizing tourist consumption.
Which is what it feels like in some of the big capitals.
Exactly what it feels like.
So detail that difference for us. When a traveler commits to spending, say, 10 nights in one of these places, what specific gains are they actually realizing?
First and foremost, they gain unmediated authenticity. In mainstream centers, the local economy so often revolves around international chains and, mass-produced souvenirs.
Right.
In these hidden gems, you're far more likely to find yourself in a genuine, unhurried conversation with a local shopkeeper whose family has run that business for 3 generations. You might discover a family-run trattoria or a guest house where the recipes, the traditions are generational, completely untouched by global homogenization. You are actively avoiding that tourist trap economy.
And that level of local engagement, that ties directly into the sustainability goals we were just talking about, doesn't it?
Absolutely. From a sustainability perspective, distributing visitor numbers is now, I'd argue, an ethical imperative. We can't keep channeling millions of annual visitors into a handful of cities built on fragile foundations.
It's just not working.
It's not. Thoughtful, dispersed travel eases that infrastructural and social pressure, and this is highly attractive to that 42% seeking longer stays. There's the element of
Yeah,
value.
the cost.
The cost. We found that accommodation, dining, activities, they're often significantly lower priced, sometimes by 40 to 60% compared to major centers. That offers immense financial relief. It makes that longer, deeper dive stay actually feasible without compromising the richness of the trip.
That exceptional value, which allows someone to settle in for 10 nights instead of 5, that's a complete game changer. Now, let's talk tactics. You've emphasized that when you visit is almost as important as where you go.
The shoulder seasons are the undeniable sweet spot. May, June, September, and early October. You get the best balance of weather, cost, and crowd levels.
So the weather is still pleasant, even beautiful, but the intense summer hordes haven't arrived yet, or they've already left.
Exactly. This timing allows for intimate exploration. You can actually appreciate the subtle details of the architecture or the nuances of a landscape without feeling rushed by a constant flood of people.
But there's a movement that's even more beneficial for the local economy, right? That strategic embrace of the off-season.
Yes, the growing off-season demand is hugely promising. We're seeing November through April becoming increasingly attractive for specialized travel. And this is crucial for local communities because it stabilizes their income streams.
It extends the season.
It extends the tourism season far beyond that traditional summer peak. It ensures businesses can thrive year-round. And for the dedicated traveler, visiting a place like Hallstatt or Colmar when it's snow-blanketed, it offers a unique, tranquil beauty you simply cannot replicate in summer. It transforms the experience into something quiet, reflective, almost private.
That economic stability for the locals and the promise of a genuine, reflective encounter for the traveler,
Yeah.
that's exactly what the data suggests people are looking for. Let's dive into the list then, starting with urban centers that feel like walking into a time capsule.
Our first stop is in the Baltic region, with Riga, Latvia. This capital is frequently overlooked for its neighbors, Tallinn or Vilnius, yet it has this highly unique architectural claim.
Which is?
It boasts the world's finest concentration of Art Nouveau architecture. We're talking well over 800 buildings in this spectacular style.
It's astonishing how few people grasp that. The sheer scale of Riga as an open-air museum. On one hand, you have the medieval core Vekriga, which is a UNESCO site in its own right, all classic Gothic spires. The view from St. Peter's Church, fantastic panoramic views.
Over the Daugava River.
And of course, the beautifully reconstructed House of the Blackheads, which stands as this powerful symbol of the city's Hanseatic League glory.
But the real draw, the centerpiece that justifies a deep architectural dive, is the Art Nouveau district, particularly around Alberta Ayala, Alberta Street.
Right.
Here, the facades just explode with extraordinary detail. Sinuous organic forms, mythological figures, elaborate ornamentation that seems almost rebellious. Much of this incredible, almost theatrical design comes from Mikhail Eisenstein, the father of the famous film director.
So kidding.
Walking down Alberta Street is surreal. You spend hours just examining the swirling stonework, feeling like the buildings themselves are these fantastical creatures frozen in stone. It pushes the decorative possibilities of Art Nouveau to its absolute extravagant limits.
Now, to truly understand Riga's daily life, you have to leave the polished old town and visit the Riga Central Market. This isn't just a market.
No, it's an incredible example of innovative historic preservation. It's housed in 5 massive former Zeppelin hangars that were repurposed after World War I.
I'm fascinated by that juxtaposition. These huge utilitarian metal structures now full of stalls selling fresh Baltic smoked fish, local honey, pickled mushrooms.
Dark rye bread.
Does the sheer scale of those hangars make it feel overwhelming, or does the structure kind of contain the chaos?
It manages to contain it, but in a very atmospheric way. The vastness of the space allows for high ceilings, so you don't get that typical market claustrophobia. But the sheer volume of sensory input, the smell of spices, the sound of transactions in Latvian, the colors, it provides a deep, authentic glimpse into everyday Latvian life. It's an essential stop.
Okay, from the Baltic, we're shifting dramatically south to Bohemia and Český Krumlov in the Czech Republic. This town is a medieval masterpiece, perfectly tucked into a horseshoe bend of the Vltava River. It's always compared to Prague, but without the overwhelming crowds.
And without the price.
And without the prices, critically.
It truly is medieval perfection preserved. The architecture is a stunning mixed Gothic, Renaissance, Baroque all, visually dominated by the massive castle complex. It's the second largest in the entire Czech Republic.
Wow.
When you're kayaking or just sitting on the riverbank, you feel like you've stepped directly into a richly illustrated children's book. The narrow cobbled lanes, the colorful facades spilling down to the water.
But the core treasure, the piece that makes this destination truly unique for the culturally aware traveler, it lies deep within that castle complex, the Castle Baroque Theater.
Oh, absolutely.
We're talking about an extraordinary, almost miraculous find. One of only a handful of such venues left in Europe with its original 18th century stage machinery, lighting, and decorations fully intact.
That's the detail that sticks with you. When you take the specialized guided tour, you are seeing the original wooden mechanisms they used to simulate storms or move elaborate painted backdrops. It's a preserved snapshot of the theatrical ingenuity of the 1700s, a time capsule for performing arts history.
And the Vltava River isn't just a picturesque backdrop, is it? It's a strategic part of the experience.
It is.
We noted that flatboat rides, or kayaking, let you see the town's architecture from a completely unique, waterborne perspective. In a town where the streets can feel crowded midday, getting on the water is a direct strategy for escaping the masses.
Exactly. And for the long-stay visitor seeking immersion, the town's medieval festival with jousting tournaments, historical costumes, vendors selling mead, it's highly recommended if the timing works out. A real community-driven historical experience.
Finally, in this category, we move west to Colmar, France, in the Alsace region. Known as Little Venice, this town is defined by its improbably preserved half-timbered houses and its canals. The key here is its preservation. The town largely escaped the destruction of the world wars.
Which is incredible. And the culture of Colmar is a true study in European identity. Because of centuries of contested sovereignty between France and Germany, you get this unique cultural fusion in everything.
You can see it in the architecture.
You see it in the architecture, which has clear Germanic influence, while the language and daily life are French. And you taste it in the cuisine. You find French fine dining traditions applied to Germanic dishes like tarte flambe.
Flammekuche.
Exactly. And the prevalence of Riesling and Gewürztraminer wines.
The most iconic district has to be the Tanner's Quarter, part of that Petite Venise area. These colorful half-timbered buildings, painted in vibrant greens, blues, reds. The canal-side settings offer incredible photo opportunities.
And the town's landmarks demand a closer look. The Maison de Têtes, the House of Heads. It's a 17th century building with 106 sculpted heads on its facade.
That's amazing.
It is, depicting everything from mythological creatures to historical figures. Then there's Colmar's surprising link to global iconography. Frederick August Bartholdi, the sculptor of the Statue of Liberty, was born here. There's even a smaller replica of Liberty standing there.
A wonderful, unexpected layer of history. And the market experience, the Marché Couvert de Colmar. It's the perfect place to stock up if you've chosen an apartment rental for that longer stay. Plus, Colmar is the perfect base for exploring the entire Alsace wine route.
Okay, so let's transition. We've explored cities defined by time capsules and cultural hybridity. Our next set of destinations are defined by dramatic geography. We're shifting to mountain drama and Alpine fairy tales.
I love this transition. You're asking the traveler to engage in a fundamentally different style of travel, one of reflection and physical challenge rather than just urban consumption. And Ronda is the perfect place to begin.
We start with Ronda, Spain, dramatically positioned in Andalusia's mountains. The town is literally split by the 100-meter-deep El Tajo Gorge, separating the ancient Moorish Old Town from the 15th century New Town. The history here is so deeply layered.
And the town's architectural signature is the Puente Nuevo, the new bridge. Completed in 1793 after 4 decades of perilous construction, this thing soars 98 meters above the river. I just imagine standing at the midpoint, leaning over, peering down into that chasm. That thrill of vertigo is part of the experience.
And that bridge holds more than just a structural history. Its interior chamber, which is now an interpretation center, it famously served as a prison and allegedly saw use during the Spanish Civil War.
So the stone holds darker secrets.
It does. It's a powerful architectural triumph with a complex, often violent history woven into its foundations.
That complexity continues too. Ronda has the Plaza de Toros, Spain's second oldest bull ring. But for travelers seeking historical depth, the connection to its Moorish heritage is unmissable, especially the Baños Árabes, the Arab baths.
They're among the best preserved in Spain, with their horseshoe arches beautifully evoking the sophistication of Al-Andalus. And the atmosphere has captivated artists for centuries. Ernest Hemingway wrote extensively about Rhondda.
Right, and for whom the bell tolls.
Exactly. That literary association still draws writers and artists seeking inspiration. You can visit the Alameda del Tahoe Gardens, jutting out perilously over the gorge, and sense the elemental power that captivated Hemingway's imagination.
Okay, our next stop takes us to Hallstatt, Austria, the ultimate Alpine fairy tale. Perched precariously on the Hallstatter Sea, this is one of Europe's oldest continuously inhabited villages. 7,000 years of history, all linked to salt mining.
The geography forces human ingenuity. To really appreciate how this tiny community managed to thrive, you need to take the funicular up to the Hallstatt Skywalk. It offers these dizzying, vertiginous views over the village and the mountains.
And the history is wonderfully interactive. The ancient salt mine, one of the world's oldest, offers underground tours. You get to go down the famous wooden slides that miners once used.
It's a surprisingly thrilling experience, but we also have to address the famous cultural quirk, the Hallstatt Bone House.
Okay.
Due to the severe constraints on cemetery space, this small chapel contains over 1,200 decorated human skulls, meticulously painted with floral motifs and family names. It's a striking, visceral connection to the pragmatic solutions the inhabitants had to devise for mountain living and dying.
I have to challenge this recommendation a little bit, though. You mentioned earlier that our focus is on escaping over-tourism fatigue. Yet our research clearly states that Hallstatt has struggled significantly with soaring popularity. They've had to limit bus arrivals. Can Hallstatt truly be called a hidden gem for 2025?
That is a critical question, and it speaks to the necessary shift in strategy. Hallstatt is not hidden anymore. It is strategic. We include it because its unique history is worth the visit, but the only way to experience its authenticity, the core of our deep dive, is by embracing the off-season.
So the advice is very specific.
Very specific. Visit in winter, when it's a snow-blanketed wonderland, or during summer. Aim for early morning or late evening visits after the thousands of day trippers have left. When the village settles back into its natural rhythm, it reveals its true, quiet charm. If you're there only between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m., you're just experiencing the crush.
So it's a strategically managed gem, not an undiscovered one. That makes sense. Moving across the Julian Alps, we arrive at Lake Bled, Slovenia, the definition of alpine perfection. An emerald lake, a tiny island with a church, and a medieval castle perched on the cliffs.
The visual is breathtaking, and the experience is focused on that island. You travel across the water in traditional wooden boats called pletna boats, rowed by oarsmen. The rhythmic splash of the oars is often the only sound.
A meditative journey.
It is. Once you climb the 99 steps to the church, the legend says ringing the bell grants wishes, so you constantly hear that pealing bell in the background.
And the castle offers that critical perspective. Bled Castle, sitting 130 meters above the lake, must provide spectacular, commanding views. I imagine the sunsets are pure drama.
They are, and for the 7 to 12 night traveler, the surrounding nature offers a vital contrast. Just 4 kilometers away is the Vintgar Gorge. It's 1.6 kilometers of wooden walkways winding through Slovenia's dramatic karst landscape. You're following the tumbling Radovna River.
And Lake Bled, despite its fame, has that unique culinary treat, the kremenita.
The cream cake, an incredibly light vanilla custard creation. It's worth the trip alone.
Our final mountain destination takes us to Sintra, Portugal, a UNESCO site just a short drive from Lisbon. It was the summer retreat for Portuguese royalty, drawn by its cooler, misty forests. The architecture feels plucked from a dream.
The Pina Palace is the quintessential visual. This 19th century castle is painted in vivid yellows, reds, purples, a remarkable fusion of styles, Moorish, Gothic, Renaissance, that somehow works.
But while it's beautiful, it's the mysterious side of Sintra that truly speaks to the traveler seeking depth.
That's the key connection. The Quinta da Regaleira Gardens offer perhaps the most captivating experience in Portugal. The estate hides symbolic structures, most famously the initiation well.
And this isn't a functioning well for water.
No, it's a 27-meter spiral staircase descending deep into the earth. It was reportedly used for initiation rites by secret societies like the Freemasons.
The idea of descending into that moss-covered darkness, following a spiraling path, then emerging into underground tunnels that web beneath the estate, that is an otherworldly experience. It turns the landscape into a riddle waiting to be solved.
Sintra's geography also extends to the metaphorical edge of the continent. A short trip takes you to Cabo da Roca, the westernmost edge of continental Europe. Standing on those windswept cliffs, you get that palpable sense of standing at the edge of the known world.
And for a fascinating contrast to the lavish Pana Palace, you can visit the Convento dos Capuchos, hidden deep in the forest.
Yes, this 16th century Franciscan monastery was dedicated to extreme simplicity. The monks' cells are carved directly from boulders. The passages are so low you have to crouch to pass through. It offers a humbling, raw perspective on ascetic life.
Okay, let's shift our focus now to destinations defined entirely by water and geology. We'll move to coastal ports, canal towns, and volcanic wonders.
We begin on the Adriatic with Kotor, Montenegro, a UNESCO site nestled at the innermost point of one of the Med's most spectacular bays, the Boka Kotorska. It's often, and correctly, called a superb, less crowded, and far less expensive alternative to Dubrovnik.
And the town is enclosed by these imposing Venetian walls that climb right up the adjacent mountainside.
The medieval old town is a labyrinth of cobblestone streets, and the visual drama is immense.
So,
But for the traveler seeking depth and a bit of exertion, Kotor presents the ladder of Kotor.
a challenging climb. 1,350 steep stone steps up to St. John's Fortress, 260 meters above the bay. So tell us about the payoff for that effort.
The payoff is arguably the finest view in the entire Mediterranean. The sunrise from that fortress is breathtaking. It transforms the massive fjord-like bay into liquid gold and amber. We advise doing this climb at dawn. The temperature is manageable, and the reward is absolute silence before the cruise ships arrive.
Beyond the climb, the Bay of Kotor itself demands exploration. Day trips to Perched and the two enchanting islets, Our Lady of the Rocks and Svetiori.
And we have to mention Kotor's unique and utterly charming quirk, its feline residents. The town is famous for its large, friendly population of cats. Cat Square is an informal sanctuary, and they're just integrated seamlessly into daily life. It adds a delightful, relaxed atmosphere.
From the dramatic Adriatic, we pivot to the serene flatlands of the Netherlands and Giethoorn, the village without roads. This car-free village center was founded in the 13th century around canals dug for peat extraction.
The experience here is truly surreal, and it directly caters to the traveler suffering from overtourism fatigue. The village center is completely car-free. The waterways, 4 kilometers of them, serve as the main streets, connected by 176 charming wooden bridges.
How does that work for a visitor staying for a while?
Navigation is done entirely by traditional punters or silent electric boats. You glide under arch bridges, past these thatched roof houses that look like they're from a painting. The tranquility is the selling point. The only sounds are water, birdsong, maybe a few sheep. After the auditory chaos of a major capital, that silence is profound.
And it's surrounded by the Weir-Ribbenweiden National Park, a vast wetland. So you can go cycling, observe wildlife, otters, a completely unique Dutch destination.
Next up, a natural wonder that consistently appears in our research for pure beauty. Plitvice Lakes, Croatia. A UNESCO site with 16 terrace lakes connected by a staggering series of waterfalls and boardwalks. The colors azure to deep emerald green are stunning.
Plitvice was one of Croatia's first protected natural heritage sites. What's the geological secret behind this constantly evolving landscape?
It's the unique, delicate process of undisturbed tufa formation. Tufa is a porous limestone. This dynamic system is created by the constant interaction between the hypersaturated water, air, the geology, and specific microorganisms. It's a slow process that builds these fragile travertine barriers, creating the cascades and pools.
And the experience is facilitated by an extensive network of wooden boardwalks. I understand they allow you to get extremely close to the water.
They do. It's the intimacy with the power of the water. You're right there with the sound of it rushing, falling, creating a perpetual symphony. We specifically highlight the lower lakes section, which has the park's highest waterfall, the Veliki Slap, plunging 78 meters.
And the seasonal contrast here must be immense.
It is. Spring brings powerful snowmelt. Autumn dresses the forests in crimson and gold. But winter, for the tranquility seeker, offers silent, sculptural beauty. Ice formations encase the falls, creating an almost private, frozen wonderland.
Finally, we conclude our analysis of elemental drama by venturing 1,500 kilometers west of Portugal to the Azores. This archipelago of 9 volcanic islands is Europe's hidden island paradise.
São Miguel, the largest island, is the gateway. You find the famous Setsadezes crater with its twin blue and green lakes. The vivid contrast in colors is spectacular, though the science points to light reflection and algae. The local legend of star-crossed lovers is more enchanting.
And the land itself is literally a working oven, which offers one of the most unique culinary experiences on the continent. In the Furnace Valley, the tradition is to cook their cozido stew underground using geothermal heat.
That is the ultimate connection to the island's core. The stew pork, beef, chicken, vegetables is placed in a metal pot, lowered into the hot volcanic soil, and cooked for 6 or 7 hours. Watching your lunch being extracted from the steaming earth is a living history lesson.
Then there's Pico Island, home to Mount Pico, Portugal's highest peak. The ascent rewards climbers with incredible sunrise views. Pico is also unique for its UNESCO-protected vineyards, grown in black volcanic soil behind stone walls known as carré.
These low, black lava stone walls protect the vines from the Atlantic winds. They create thousands of tiny microclimates. You can also explore the 5-kilometer Grutas de Torres lava tube, a journey through subterranean chambers.
The Azores really are a perfect case study for our whole theme of sustainable depth. Their commitment to sustainable tourism keeps development small-scale, preserving their natural heritage.
So if we connect all this back to the bigger picture, successfully visiting these destinations and enjoying that 7 to 12 night depth, it requires a conscious, tactical shift in strategy from the traveler.
You can't approach them with the same rushed city break mindset.
Exactly.
Let's discuss the specifics of that shift, starting with transportation. We noted renting a car offers maximum flexibility for places like Andalusia or the Azores, but excellent scenic rail connections exist.
Yes. Take the journey to Hallstatt. The scenic rail route from Salzburg or Vienna is part of the experience. More importantly, when planning a longer itinerary, you need to combine destinations geographically.
Give us a concrete example of that.
Certainly. If you're targeting Hallstatt and Lake Bled, you might base yourself for 7 nights in Salzburg. From there, take the scenic rail route to Hallstatt for a dedicated overnight stay, ensuring you catch those tranquil mornings. Then use the rail network to transfer south to Ljubljana or directly to Bled. That detailed planning is what separates the deep diver from the day tripper.
That attention to detail is crucial, and the critical strategic realization is the value of the overnight stay. Kotor, Bled, Hesky Krumlov, they all suffer from that day tripper rush hour.
Absolutely. They get crowded midday. To truly feel the authentic atmosphere, you must commit to an overnight stay. That time after the last day trippers have left between 6 p.m. and 9 a.m. is when these places reveal their true, quiet character. You see the locals returning to their unhurried routines. That is the connection travelers are seeking.
And in terms of accommodation, the data shows better value. What are the best methods for booking and ensuring we support local communities directly?
We strongly advise booking direct with local properties, family-run guest houses, small independent hotels. This often secures better rates and bypasses large commission fees. For longer stays, apartment rentals in places like Colmar or Riga are excellent. They allow for that authentic neighborhood experience and self-catering with local produce from the markets.
Finally, we must stress cultural sensitivity. When visiting smaller communities, our behavior is a direct determinant of their ability to maintain that authentic character we find so appealing.
Exactly. This means consciously supporting local businesses, the artisans, the family-run guest houses over international chains. It means respecting residential areas, especially in a place like Geethorn where the canals are people's front yards. And it absolutely means learning basic phrases in the local language.
These 11 incredible gems represent the rewards for travelers willing to venture beyond the obvious and apply strategic planning. They offer authenticity, tranquility, exceptional value, and that genuine cultural exchange that famous, hyper-commercialized cities simply cannot match anymore.
The data showing that 42% of travelers are planning longer stays confirms it. The search for meaningful connection has replaced the quest for superficial consumption. By choosing these places, we reduce environmental pressure and provide essential economic opportunity to communities eager to share their heritage. The future of Europe's greatest treasures isn't in its celebrated capitals, but in these valleys, islands, and coastal villages.
The journey to Europe's best-kept secrets begins with a step off the beaten path and a commitment to staying long enough to feel the rhythm of a place. And that brings us to our final thought for you to mull over. The future of European travel isn't about ticking off the boxes you already know. It's about the deep, unexpected discoveries, like the feeling of standing at the edge of the known world at Cabo de Roca, or descending into the mysterious spiraling initiation well in Sintra. What historical riddle are you going to prioritize when you commit to that 7 to 12 night deep dive?